Hey, John here again. So I got a little house project today. So this hole here is for the, I just replaced a water heater not too long ago, and that was a power vent. And those two holes are for an old oil tank that I had coming out of there, and I've just been, I guess, lazy and haven't done it yet, but I want to do it before the snow flies, and I just want to make a short video on how easy this stuff is. This is red cedar clapboard wood, and to replace this siding is extremely easy with this wood siding, this wood clapboard siding, whether it's pine or whatever you got. I'm not going to replace it with red cedar just because I don't have red cedar, and it's kind of hard to get the availability. Home Depot used to sell it, clear red cedar, then they moved to red cedar that was primed, and then they moved to, for whatever reason, pine that was primed, and so that's where I'm getting my material from. But to do this repair, I do have some left over from another project I did, but I'm not sure, so that's going to have to be removed. I got to see what's behind that. But this piece I got is only, I think, 7 feet long, so I'm going to have to cut and doctor this to fit the one piece, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second here. But the tools you're going to need is just basically a razor knife and a caulking gun and a couple of nails and a hammer. That's how easy this is going to be. This is what I was talking about. Oops, sorry. This is clear cedar here. It's not the exact, this is already trimmed once, so it's no good, but this stuff my Home Depot used to sell. It's great. A little on the pricey side, but you know, good for water resistant. Then they moved to it's primed but fingerboarded together. I don't know if you've ever, you know, how they join it together. So this was all one continuous, they had them in 16-foot lengths, one continuous clear cedar board. It's perfect. And I did my addition with that stuff, so I had some left over, but that's the last piece I have, which is no good. But I just wanted to show you the difference in the quality. The difference is this stuff is I don't know if you can see the grain in there. It's really good stuff. Again, it's water resist. You know, cedar's good for wet locations. But anyways, then they moved to cedar that was fingerboarded together, and I believe this is a piece of cedar. It's already it comes primed already. See, it was primed, and then it's already painted. Like I said, I had when I was doing a project, everything was painted up, so I'm going to use that piece, and I think I got a couple more of that. And then they moved to this junk here, this pine, just absolute garbage. The knots, you know, it bleeds through. You gotta have to prime it with some kind of stain blocker, and even with the stain blocker, because I used it on a garage, the stains come through. It's absolute garbage, but that's what they're selling at my Home Depot now. They did away with the cedar. I don't know why. Maybe it just wasn't moving. But that's where I'm up against. So again, I think I got enough pieces of old painted up cedar. Great, so I found a few more extra. They're even painted up already in the overhead of the garage there. So this is the tools I'm going to be using. That's it. Just a hammer and nails, a little square for drawing a straight line, and a putty knife, and some, well, that's actually adhesive, but caulk or whatever you got, and oh yeah, and that's it. Common tools. It's going to be so easy. Alright, so I got that water meter reader thing off. That was a little problematic, but there's a you got to figure it out. But so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a knife and cut at an angle up. I'll show you under here, right? Just use my razor knife, and just put it at an angle. Keep scoring it. Eventually it'll cut through, and then I'm going to have to stagger it. I already drew some lines. I don't know if you can see them there. There's a little line there. I'm going to cut that vertical that way, and a little bit further down on the left of those two holes vertical that way. I think I'm going to leave the bottom one on there, even though it's got that crack on the bottom. It's you know, behind it is cement, so there's a little bit of a board behind it, but I think I'm going to leave the bottom one. I do have enough to replace it. I don't think it's important at this point, so I'm just going to, you know, because when the snow builds up, even if the water gets in a crack or whatever behind the paint, that's all cement up to, you know, you get what I'm saying, up to the sill plate. And I'm not sure how far the sill plate goes up, but once I get it apart, I'll know better. But here's what I'm going to do. Alright, so again, I'm just replacing these two. I'll take a look at this one in a sec, but I'm just going to start this at an angle, at an up angle, and dig in here. Just kind of drag it along. Feel the groove. I'm not really digging in too much right now. I'm just kind of scoring a line. And right here I get some paint drip, so I gotta get through that, but there you go. So right here, I don't know if that's coming out on camera, this is where I'm going to do my vertical line. And I do have a tool that I'm just going to make a score here. You can use a straight edge if you think you can't get it, but I do have a tool, a flush cutting tool, where you can go in there, but I think making a score here, I might use the tool, I don't know, but making a straight score is going to be the ticket with a straight, sharp razor knife. Because if you use that tool, unless you got a blade this long, you're not, you know, once you go here, it's going to be hard to get it perfect. But so you can use a straight edge. I just free-handed it, but use a straight edge and just cut a line here. Because I'm going to be caulking this anyways. So anything that's imperfected. So now I'm just going to keep scoring this. I'm just going to keep going, scoring, and getting a little deeper each time. At an upward angle. I can already tell it's cut through from here to here. It's almost there. So that's it right there. So right now, this board can come off of here if I pry up, but I gotta finish this piece here. So I'm gonna keep scoring here. I might get my tool. I might go get a lead cord and just go ahead and cut this, because I'm gonna get rid of this board too. So I do want a kind of perfect fit here, but I might keep scoring it here. Pretty sure I'm through. So next I'll get a, no, we don't even need it. So I'm just going to make a score here to get rid of the paint, and that should release it. See, I'm going to have to paint this again, I guess. See, even though I scored it, didn't really do a good job. This is the red cedar. You're not going to know where the nails are, so that's why. Alright, so that's one piece, but I don't know if you can see that. This is where I was talking about. You cut it at an angle like this, yeah? Because that way when, I think I got some building paper. This is building paper. It's not, you know, it's not tar paper or nothing. I think I got some tar paper, so I am going to just get rid of this building paper and put some tar paper down. So once I get all that cleaned up, and again, I'm not worried about this. This is red cedar, but I'm going to have to obviously paint this up. But I am going to caulk everything. I'll show you how it's going to go. But so now there's a nail, rusty nail. So now getting these off, it's not going to be, you know, I need to make a mark over here, obviously. I'll show you in a second, but getting this, I can just rip this off. I just wanted this as clean as possible. If you go under here, you can feel there's a little groove in there. And if you feel something that didn't make it, you could just cut it out again. But that's all it is, just going up at up angle. Because when we put this last piece in, obviously these are going to be full pieces. When we put this last piece in, we're going to have to get the measurement from here to there. And you know, you'll see how it goes, but we put a bead of caulk in here, right? And then when we shove it up, it'll squish out and, you know, seal everything. Alright, so I was just measuring the wood. I got enough new wood to replace all 4 of these, so I am going to go one more higher, see where that paint chipped. There's a seam there, I don't know if you can see that, but I want to get rid of that seam over that, you know, where this paint has been exposed to heat and cold and heat and cold, because the snow builds up here, and then this was a, you know, the hot water event, and it always melted, froze, melted, froze. So I do want to get rid of this board here, just because it might be compromised. So I'll do the same thing I just did up here. I'll cut that at an angle upwards, and of course I won't cut it here. I'll stagger it a little bit further there. Alright, so a little closer. So as we're stripping this back, right? Just you gotta be careful. Well, that's the wire. I gotta remember that. Where that? Well, I'll show you. So you're going from left to right. As I'm stripping this back, you just gotta be careful not to. See, this is part. This part that's not painted. This is where I made a cut, staggered it 5 or 6 inches. I think it was 6 inches. Staggered it. But you see how this piece is part of the original piece. You just, you know, I still need to make a razor cut right here on these two boards. You know, I need to extend that down and extend this down, because these are gonna, you know, when you put the new board in, it's gonna be this thick, right? And I'm gonna blind nail this because I like blind nailing it. This was not blind nail. I didn't build this part of the house. Although you can't see the nails, I did paint it, so I hid the nails, and I'm probably going to do that again, but I'll show you 2 ways you can blind nail it. And like, that's a nail hole right there, and I did fill it, but you could still see a little bit. So whoever put the siding on went here, and you can do that, obviously. You nail it here, then you can fill it later and do that whole thing, or you can nail it blind, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Just less for me to, you know, set nails and do all that. So that's the stagger I got. A little close to this pipe here, so I did have to use that fella there, one of those flush cut tools. It does work pretty good, but again, like I was trying to explain before, the blade is not, you know, if you had one continuous blade, it was like that and just plunged right through it, no problem. But you still have to make a score cut, because if you're using a blade like this, even if you have a thicker one or a wider one, you know, it's going to be hard to get that thing straight across. So you still need to use your razor knife, score it, and that way you'll have a place to put this plunge cut. But I didn't need to use it because my razor kept, you know, impeding here. So the rest of them I used a razor knife, and they're pretty straight. But again, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to be using caulk, and you'll see how that goes. So when you butt the new piece up, the caulk will squish out, smooth it over, and then when we paint it, you're not going to see anything. So I elected not to do the bottom piece, just because even though that crack is there, I might fill it with some caulk and do it that way. But it's not through. I don't think the crack is through. And again, it's behind it is cement basically. There's wood that comes down, but the cement goes up under it to about here, so not worried about that. So let me scrape off the rest of this building paper and see if there's any. It doesn't look like it. Scrape, you know, clean everything up, and then I'll get all the nails out, and then put some tar paper over it, and we'll go from there. So I'm about to put tar paper over here. I did relocate this wire for the wireless. That fella there. The water meter, just because that wood, I don't want to use the same screw holes, and it's a little bit compromised. So new fresh wood. So let's put some tar paper over this and start siding this and get this thing done, paint it up before the missus comes home. And I'm surprised. She never once said, hey, what's with the holes in the side of the house? I mean, I'm sure she's seen them, but it's been this way for a month or two, at least a month or two. Probably working on 3-4 months. Anyways, let me get this pieced in here and go from there. Alright, so from here it's a no-brainer. So we just got this full piece measured to here, and a second full piece measured to here, and then the third piece we'll have to cut it, and I'll get to that in a second. But I just noticed, let me get a piece here under here. I might have to scrape some of this off because I can't leave it like that. Yeah, So I'm going to paint this anyway, but see how this is just ready to bubble. So because I'm going to paint anyway and I have the paint, I'll just go ahead and get rid of, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. Let me clean that up. And it's still good wood, it's not wet, so I can paint it right away. So what I'm going to do is just caulk here on the ends. It's going to spill out, but I'm going to paint anyway, but I want to have a good seal. These are the nails I use, Maze. They're the galvanized, won't split your wood. Let's see what we got here. That's about all I need, right? This is the bottom one, because I drilled a hole for it. A new wire. So what I want to do here is actually just going to start a couple nails. One on this side. One on this side. That. So I just started a couple nails. And at this point, I've already measured the length of it, but at this point, I want to keep it close to this paint line, but I already pre-measured it. It's a little off. It's a ½ inch off. Whoever put this siding on, they didn't really do a good job of measuring. So I do want the bottom to line up over here. You probably can't see what I'm doing over here, but before I hammer that home, let's see if you can see that. Yeah, maybe not. Before I hammer this home, it's level down here. Probably should move the camera. But instead of measuring from the bottom up at where the paint line was, I did notice just measuring there was a ½ inch, literally a ½ inch discrepancy between here and there, which is not cool. So what I'm going to do is take a measurement here and here. So it's 6.5 here, and I'm going to make it 6.5 here. It needs to go up about ¼ inch. About there. Right, before I hammer this home, like I said, I want to make sure there's no bows or whatever. So instead of nailing it here, where as the rain comes down, now you got to set this nail and fill this. I'm going to nail it up here, so the next course is going to hide this nail, right? But because I put that bead of caulk or adhesive down there, it's going to be all set. It's not squishing out, which is cool, but that's what I'm getting at. Anyways, that's blind nailing it, or if you feel, you know, you can nail it here too if you want to go through here and through the bottom one. Then all you got to do is set the nail and then caulk it. And I guess I'll do that just to show you. You know, it doesn't matter. I just don't like the, because I got to paint and caulk anyways. I might as well go ahead and do that just to show you, and then we'll caulk it up. But yeah, we're good. All right, so the next one's going to go here. You get the idea. So let me nail this down and do all that and get everything measured up. And this last piece, this is the piece that's important, that we're going to have to rip down on a table saw. Put a bead of caulk up here. I'll show you. So let me get this done. All right, so for this last piece, I'm going to have to take it to the table saw and rip it down to what turns out to be 4-inch 4 inches. That's the reveal. So all these are 4 inches. So that's what I was looking for, 4 inches, because it was a little off down there, but we adjusted. So when I rip it down, we're going to do 4 inches on a table saw. We'll take off obviously the top piece here, and obviously we can't blind now it, but I'm going to go ahead and add a thick bead of caulk into here at an angle. So when you shove this up, you'll see how it works out. But I do have to get a punch them in. We're almost done here. So get the length this way, and then whatever the reveal is. If you've got a 5-inch reveal, you know, mine's a 4-inch reveal, so sometimes it's 5.5, whatever it is, your reveal, and that's it. One more piece. Oh, I'm gonna get lucky. I'm gonna get lucky here too. I'm gonna get lucky with this that big piece. That's gonna survive 8 foot or whatever it is, because these two little pieces here are gonna make up the 49 inches that I need. So minimum scrap, and I'll have a bigger piece, 8-foot piece left over in case something else happens. So let me get that ripped up, those two pieces, and nailed up and glued up and all that business. Alright, man, last piece. Last piece. This is the part that's important. Get enough under here. And that's it. Let's hope I measure this right. Oh boy, might be a little bit close. Oh man. Idiot. I gotta take a sliver off of here. How's that formula go? Measure once, cut twice. Let's see if this is a little better. Oh yeah. So we're gonna have to sink it in here. One more for good measure in the center. So now I'm just going to go ahead and set all these nails. Alright. Fill it all in. I don't need to fill that because this whole thing is going to plug that in. Although I've got enough left. Might as well, right? Good to go. Let's paint this up, man. All right, so there you have it. I don't want to bore you with watching paint dry, but this is the before picture, and this is the after picture. So if you have a hole in your siding, you can see how easy this is to repair wood siding. Common tools, doesn't take much. Unfortunately, the siding is bought in bundles, at least at my Home Depot. So if you can get yourself a single slat or two from your local lumberyard, it'd be even easier, cheaper. even though the pine stuff is relatively cheap. The cedar's a little more expensive, but there you have it. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.